Hello. So I've got a long one today. So this is a build I did a couple of weeks ago, and I think I've mentioned it already. Um, I couldn't get the footage down anymore, honestly, and I didn't really want to split it into two because I did it like quite nonsensically. That is not a word, but I didn't like do interior and then exterior. I like just kind of did both at the same time, which is usually how I build, but obviously when the build's a bit bigger, okay, not absolutely tiny, it means I end up with loads of footage, and it ends up being hours worth. I think it was about 6 hours worth of footage for this one. I've got it down to 40-ish minutes kind of thing. So sorry for the long one. I really like how this turned out. I'm really happy with it. The only thing is, in the future, like next time I build a family home, I want to make a more colourful one. Like I want to do quite garish colours, because I don't think I've really experimented with that, especially like movie hangout. I'd quite like to use some of the objects in that, which I have not really experimented with yet, because I usually stick to like quite neutral colours. It didn't make much sense for me to do like really bright colours in this house, because I've got a family in mind that I made a while ago, and so I was building a house specifically for them. So the family is like a young couple, and their two children, and so they had twins at a really young age. I think I was thinking like maybe like 18, and the dad is a footballer. He is like getting up there, pretty up and coming. That's why they can afford this house, because he's quite famous, we're gonna say. And the mum is like a social media influencer, so she does like fashion modeling kind of thing, like for online, and also like runs like a mummy blog kind of thing, sometimes does a little bit of vlogging. So yeah, I knew straight away that when I made this family a while ago, that when I built the house I wanted to have an office, and so the office is the mum's office, and I decided with the layout that I ended up having that I'd have the playroom, like, so you walk through the playroom into the office, and then like later on that can be turned into something else. But I thought it made sense at the moment because the mum's like a stay-at-home mum, and so it would make sense, like if she's doing work in the office, she'd want to be able to like get to the kids easily or see them, because there's like a glass door. For the office I used loads of Machino stuff pack, and I really love that stuff pack actually. It's very surprising. I really like the stuff in it. You see me fiddling a lot with this house because I couldn't quite work out how I wanted it to be, so I end up changing the split level, so I do keep it, but I put in like the stairs and an arch, because I don't like how the light doesn't work properly in the way that it is now, even though I prefer the stairs being that way. But I couldn't handle how it thought that there was like no roof, so I change it later on, which you'll see me fiddling around for ages. And then I also changed the roof quite a lot at the end, because I decided it doesn't look very good, and so I end up completely changing the roof. So if you think the roof looks a little bit rubbish at the moment, don't worry, I go in and change it, and if you think it looks good and it looks worse after, I'm sorry, you can change it back. So I kind of like set up like a camera there, and so that's like a little vlogging bit where she'll like sit and do like haul videos, and then yeah, it's just like a nice little office that she can work from home from while looking after the kids. And then obviously the dad will be out training a lot of the day. So yeah, they're quite lucky. I've got like a little backstory where like her dad, he's a single dad, and he basically helped them get their house, and so they had a little one before this, and then they managed to afford this, and then when obviously she got like this house and stuff, he decided that, actually no, it wasn't that, it was they lived with him, and he was like kind of settled down because he had to raise her by herself, basically, by himself, and then once they were older, or she was older, sorry, I can't speak. For some reason I feel really out of breath. It's really weird. So when she got older and then she got with her partner, they're married actually, Noah. It's Noah and Peyton, and I can't remember the name of their 2 kids right now. She moved out obviously to here with Noah, and then he decided that it was his time to like live a little, because he always kind of was like a really good dad and sacrificed a lot and didn't get his like, I don't know, early adulthood, say. So he had them living with the young babies for a little while, and then once they started getting more money, they were able to move out. And then he's now moved to San Myshuno and is living in like a penthouse, because I like the idea that he always wanted to live in the city, but he didn't like think that was a good place to raise his daughter because it's a bit too hectic. So he just didn't move there, and he kept her maybe in somewhere like Brindleton Bay, or maybe even like Newcrest, which is where this house was built. I'm not sure if I'll keep it there or not, but yeah, I like the idea that he kind of made a couple of sacrifices for her, knowing that later on he'd be able to like go do what he wants to do properly. And I think it's a nice little family. I like this one a lot. I like how this house turned out. I like the family. I've wanted to build them a house for a while, but I've kind of struggled. I have tried a couple of times, but I always imagined that office being like in a diagonal, which it is, but I was having a hard time like panning out how to do it. This dining room changes quite a lot because it's not very big, and I feel like that was the one thing I was like, maybe they should have a big one for like hosting. But then I was also thinking, I was like, I'm not sure they're really the hosting type. With like the Goths, I kind of liked the hosting thing, but I think while these ones are like famous or whatever, or a little bit, they're not like showy. I think I kind of imagine them to be a bit like homebodies, and I thought probably with 2 young children they're not really hosting a lot, and if they did, they'd probably like do it kind of more in a chill way, so like you'd sit in the living room kind of thing. So I thought it didn't really matter that much. I do end up going in and changing that again because I add in a back door, because I realise other than walking around like to the side gate, there's no way to get into the garden, and I wanted a garden. Had a little try at like doing a little bit of landscaping. I think I go in and I add a garage later on, because I was thinking, I was like, this is the sort of family who would definitely have a garage. And that's also the reason I didn't use like really bright colours. I like gave the kids like a colourful room, but I imagined, as I said, kind of like an Instagram or like YouTube family kind of thing. Like I imagined them having a pretty like modern neutral coloured house, and so I didn't really want loads and loads of colours. This is where I go back to the living room and I start trying to fiddle with the split level again, and then I'm like, nope, kitchen time. But yeah, that split level, because I really wanted it, because I just knew what I wanted, but it was a nightmare. I just couldn't get it to go how I wanted it to go. And I was like, this is also another one of those ones where I didn't use like a Pinterest reference. I just literally tried to come up with a floor plan myself. So if it's a little bit weird, that is why. I'm still working on that. I think I still need the practice and stuff. This kitchen, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, because I was thinking of like putting in a wall, and then I was like, oh, should I? And then I was like, I can't fit an island and counters. It's not that big. Because it's like quite a big kitchen, but it's not like really spacey. So it's got like a lot of counters and stuff. But I was just like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I'm sorry if you just heard my chair squeak. I promise it was the chair. Yeah, so there's just a lot of me fiddling with things to like work out the best way to have this laid out, because as I said, I'm not the best at like floor plans, and it's like something I'm working on. And so it was just like I just had to move stuff around to try and work out what I thought would be best, and I don't know, in the end it works. This is where that sideboard is where I end up putting the door to the garden. You also see me like move this building to like a bigger lot, and then I move it back to the smaller one, and then I realise if it's on the smaller one there's no room for gardens, then I move it back to the bigger one. It was a right fiddle, this one, because it's like a weird size. it's like kind of middle sized, and I was like, I didn't want to put it on a plot of land that was too big, but I didn't want to put it on one that was too small, because I didn't want to have like, if it was too big then I would have loads of landscaping to do that I wouldn't be very good at, and then if it was too small then I wasn't able to like fit in all the stuff I wanted, because I wanted them to have like kids stuff in the garden and like a pool, and I was like, okay, fiddle, so that's what I was doing. I was actually kind of happy with how the like upstairs turned out, like floor plan wise, because usually what ends up happening is I end up having to put in like a weird corridor or something, but I actually had it was like in the middle for once, which was nice. I quite enjoyed how that ended up turning out. I gave the parents like an ensuite, if I remember correctly, because I thought, yeah, they're the type of people who'd have an ensuite. And they've got like big wardrobes, and I put in a guest room. So there's another room with a double bed, and that's like the guest room, because I thought they're the sort of people that would have a spare room, and also like the dad would stay in there when he comes to stay. And I was originally going to give the kids like a shared room, and then have like one as like a spare room with like boxes and stuff in it, but then I was thinking they're not the sort of family that would have a random clutter room, I don't think. And also I thought it just would be nicer to have like two separate rooms, especially since the kids' room's quite small, because I wanted them to have like the same size room. I didn't want one of them to have like a bigger room, and so they're pretty much the same size, I think, except for like one square, but they're a bit of a weird shape because of that. And so it's not like a massive house, because I wanted it to kind of be like, they're not like mega rich or anything, they're kind of just like, they're like what's the word? Not mediocrely, but like, they're like doing well for themselves, especially considering their age, but they're not mega famous, they're not like super rich or anything like that. He's like not been playing football for that long, so he's not like a millionaire or anything, and she's gets like a good amount of money, but you know, like most influencers, not like Kylie Jenner kind, or like Kendall, or any of like the Kardashian kind of payments, but yeah. So it's like a much nicer house than most people would have, but it's also not like it's not like a mansion kind of thing. But yeah, it's a lot nicer than most like 20-year-olds would have, because that's like 20-ish they are in my head, 22 maybe. Had the babies about like 18, 19. Yeah, I just love this family a lot, and I'm quite proud of how this turned out. Also, like, you could also make the kids have a bigger room, because I put in like a little home gym, because I thought it makes sense for like him being a footballer that he does like training and exercise and stuff, and would want a home gym, especially if the mum's got like an office for her stuff. I know obviously she works from home, but I thought it makes sense for him to have a little space too. And so this is the spare room, and I do actually use that little square in the gap to put... Oh, do I? Okay, I thought I did. Apparently I don't. I think I tried to put like a wardrobe in there, but I think it looks a bit weird, like sunk back, so I must have decided not to in the end. Yeah, so I do like how this room turned out. It's quite small. I think that's fine, because it's just a spare room. Probably mainly their dad stays in it. Her dad, I mean, when he comes around. I can't really imagine they have like people around all the time. It's just there because it was spare, and they've made it into a nice little guest room. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Kept it like quite neutral colours, like black and white. I was just kind of thinking like about my my boyfriend's mum's just had the spare room in their house done up, and I was kind of thinking about that, because they've got quite like a nice grey and white colour scheme, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty nice. No, that was kind of the idea I was going for. Yeah, I do really like how this turned out, as I said. I'm very happy. I think I don't really do the split level till towards the end, because it's a nightmare. But yeah, I did try like experimenting with like stuff. I found myself using shelves a lot for like loads of different things recently. I've built my own, like as in like my real life house, like my family home, and it's got so many shelves that I've used for different things in there, because I don't know, they're just really handy. I think is this the ensuite or is this just the main bathroom? Oh yeah, it's the main bathroom. I tried to make it a little bit interesting, but I struggled because, it's hard to make bathrooms interesting. And also then I realised I should probably put in a shower, so then you see me fiddle again, because I'm a nightmare and I'm just like rearranging everything constantly. So, it's so early this morning. It's like 8:30 in the morning right now. I've been up for quite a few hours because I've been doing work. Behind me is a painting of me and my rabbit. So I've been working on that, and I've got some other stuff that I'm working on, like other paintings, and then I'm going to go into the studio at uni and do some painting because I'm going home tonight at today, hopefully. I booked a train for 2, but I can get on a later one. But I will hope to get on that one because it's earlier, and it takes less time. It's about an hour later, shorter than loads of the other ones, an hour and a half than quite a lot of the ones that are available today. So I'm hoping to get on that one because it is the shortest one by 40 minutes from the next one, and then most of them are 7 hours long to get home, and this one's 6 hours. Oh, I can't do math, never mind. It's 40 minutes shorter than most of them. I think it's 6 hours 20, and I think most of them are 6 hours 40, but no, a few of them are 6 hours 40, and then loads of them are 7 hours something, and I want the shorter one. So I'm going to try and get back from uni to my flat by about 2, pick up my case, leave straight for the station. Hopefully that worked out. I'm really hoping, because as I said, I really don't want to have to be on a train longer than I need to be. So yeah, that is the hope. And then I'll be home for 5 days because I need to go to my doctor's, but I've got to make an appointment because they won't let me do it. It's a long story. They've got a really bad system. And then I have to, what am I doing? Oh, and then I'll come back on next Monday, so 6 days away, and then I will have only a week left of uni. So, and then after the 3rd I can leave and go home for Christmas, which means I'll be home for 6 weeks, which means my PC goes home, which means I don't have to do loads of pre-recording, because I had to do a week's worth of pre-recording, plus I don't know, I've recorded some videos for next week as well. Yeah, so quite happy about that, and I'm dying to finish uni. I'm so ready to finish uni for 6 weeks. I have a year and a half left, and I'm just kind of finished now. I need a break. And I have really long off in summer, so I don't know why I'm moaning so much, but it just feels like I've been in education for so long. And the thing is, I kind of want to do a master's after, but I think the one that I would like to do is part-time. So, and it's online, so I'd be able to do it from home. I just don't think I can go into places anymore. I don't have that kind of energy, to be honest. I think if I don't get onto that one, I don't know if I'll do a master's, or maybe I'll do one but take a year out or something. I don't know. But it's just, I need a break from education, because even though I do really love uni, but I don't know, I just need to not have to do things. I mean, work's a bit different, because I feel where you get paid, there's a sense of reward, whereas I find with uni, I'm kind of why am I here? Because it's you don't really get anything till the end. There's no sense of reward till the end, especially with my course where none of my other years count except the last one. So it's really hard to motivate yourself and feel I don't know, you're doing something when you just don't have any years that count till literally your last year. This is where I try a thing with the shelves. This is one of the times where I use shelves. I think I only use them once or twice in here. But yeah, I've been trying to experiment a little bit more with doing unique stuff with building, because whenever I watch other people's builds, I'm wow, I would never think to do something like that. So my version of that is just putting shelves on everything. So yeah, so you'll see what I do with them in a little bit. I'm not sure, like, this bit's fine, but I think the other bit's not really functional, so, I mean, it's not really meant to be fair, like, it's just meant to be decorative. I think it makes sense when you see it. I think it looks quite nice, so, yeah, as I was saying, I've been up for, like, hours, so if I'm not making much sense, it's because I am not really sure what I'm saying at this point. Sorry about that. I just, heard some noises outside, so I was like, I might pause until they stop, because I didn't know if it could pick it up. Although the other day it didn't pick up the football, I guess, so I think. Yeah, so this is me trying to experiment with doing unique build stuff, and I really wish that I could just place the PCs where I want them to be, but you can't, and that's really sad. I couldn't even put like what I was thinking of doing is like put in the desk underneath and then put in the computer on there, but I couldn't really do that because I think because I wanted the counters there as like storage, because I thought it looked nice, and that was like the whole idea. The desk's lower, I think, so that's why that didn't work, at least I think anyway. This is me just trying to pick sofas that match, and I mean, they don't match perfectly, but what does in this game? Like, what really matches without being able to use a colour wheel? Honestly, not a lot. So, yeah, they're what I end up going for. Rugs, I think I end up leaving those ones. I think they might be my favourite rugs, honestly. At this point, I hadn't, like, put in the stairs for the split room, because I was like, I hadn't decided if I was going to put up with the outdoor lighting or whether I was going to use the archway idea yet. And as I said, I do end up using the archways because I'd rather the light be normal. I do have like a little bit of clutter in this house, because I thought, while they're kind of like a little bit minimalist, they're not like actual minimalist, but like while the house is a little bit minimalist, they're still like, they still have kids, and they're not like really, really, really tidy. So the house is like quite clean in colour scheme wise, but they've still got like toys and stuff around. So that was the idea, is that like having the storage in the living room would probably be like where they keep toys on in the playroom and just random stuff, rather than having a spare room, like I said, with like boxes and stuff, and more like so people would hide it in a cupboard rather than have it like hidden in a whole room, because you can just open the door then. So this is where I start reworking the roof. Honestly, roofing is not my strong point. It is so difficult. But when I went in and redone this, I was like redoing the roof, I was like, what was I thinking the first time I did this? Because like, especially that bit on the right hand side, it's like I put one of those ones that's like flat on one side, and then I don't have to explain it, but I was like, oh, why did I put that in as a roof? Because it just didn't suit the house at all. I can't remember if I keep this brick. I think I do. I think I keep this brick, and yeah, I've put like the black brick at the front door bit. I did debate changing it, because I think I might have used this brick in another build, but I couldn't. That's when I was playing around with like wallpapers, and I don't know if I do it again. But I just couldn't find one that for me suited the house and also like the aesthetic of the parents. I couldn't really imagine it as like what they called like slats. I just couldn't. It's not that sort of house, I don't think. So yeah, and then it's just me trying to decide where to put windows, because I am not good with windows, and I didn't want to put too many in because it starts looking weird when you put too many in, but it also looks weird when you don't have enough. So honestly, anything that's not decorating is just not a strong point for me. Like, I'm not good with like landscaping or building properly. Like, building properly, what do I mean? Exteriors, that's what I meant by building properly. I think that like roof bit there at the front kind of works, just because the house isn't very symmetrical in the first place. So I think, yeah, it doesn't matter too much. I think you might... Oh, did I change it? I can't remember if I keep it the way. I know I just changed it there, but I can't remember which way I ended up keeping it. I think both works, honestly. I'm not sure which way I prefer, but as I said, the house isn't very symmetrical, so I think the roof doesn't look that odd either way. Like, well, no more than just me not being able to roof very well. I picked that laptop because I was like, it's got a logo on the back. It's kind of like a MacBook. I was going to put like a computer there, and I wanted to put like maybe like a laptop on the side, but obviously you can only put them on desks, like I was saying earlier. And I thought her having a laptop made more sense than her having a computer, because she can like carry it around when they go away. Because like, say if they got sent on a holiday or something, it's like, okay, she can take it to edit while they're away. And also, like, MacBooks are pretty good at editing, because I thought with the little logo on the back, it's kind of like a MacBook. I like, currently the video that I've edited, like this one, is on my laptop actually, rather than my PC, because for some reason my PC is better than my laptop, but my PC hates Premiere. Don't know why. I've tried talking to Adobe. I think I mentioned this before. It drives me up the wall though, and it was doing it again today, and then I got it to stop, but then it's like, okay, how long do I have before it does it again? But I'd already edited this video on to here, because I think when I finished filming this, it had broken again for me, so that's why I had like had it on my laptop rather than trying to do it on my PC. So, you know, what are you going to do? It's just a bit inconvenient, the fact that it doesn't work half the time. If you keep seeing me jump around a little bit, it's just where I was like deciphering what to do. Oh yeah, I ended up making the dining room smaller because I really wanted to use that sliding door. So I thought it suited the house a lot. I don't know if does it slide? I just wanted to use that door because I was like, okay, it's really nice and airy, and like, I thought it went with the vibe. So yeah, I think after this might be when I put the house on, I think, a bigger bit of land, and then I move it back to the smaller one, and then I think I decide that I want to add in a garage, and then so I move it back to the bigger one. Or is this, yeah, this is where I start thinking about a garage, and I almost put it at the front, and then I was like, no, it doesn't, it looks weird as it's just like own little building, because it's not like a big enough lot, and there's not enough like other stuff going on, I think. So then I kind of put it, I have to work with like what I've got already. So I kind of make this one, and this is where I play around, and I was like, okay, could I do it like this? And I'm like, no. So I end up putting it there, but just on the foundations, if I remember correctly. And then I use the shrine tools to make it like a slope. And then that's when I moved the lot. I don't know, I was just being quite indecisive, and I was trying to do like new things or things I'd done before but didn't really get the logistics of. And so some of it works, some of it does. So like, I was thinking my original idea was to have that bit as flat, but I don't think that works because I've got stuff on the upper level. So it only would work, I think, if I didn't have anything above directly. So I couldn't really do that. Yeah, I don't know. It would have been nice. I don't know. It would be nice if you could just do like split levels, but you can't, and that's annoying. But what are you going to do? Yeah, I like having the garage there, I guess. I think it works because it's kind of like they're meant to like, kind of like drive around to the thing. And I think, if I remember correctly, it also makes more sense than having the garage straight, because there's like the two like posts. So if the garage had been where I originally like kind of put it, when they like reversed out, they would have reversed into the garage kind of thing. I don't know, it was quite weird, so I ended up keeping it like that. My brain's gone, sorry. I'm really foggy today. I don't know why. I have two cars I think I put in. One, I've imagined like he would kind of drive the sporty car and she would maybe drive the pickup. Or maybe the other way around, really. I think either works. But there wasn't like a Range Rover type car, and that's what I was imagining more than a pickup. But I thought the pickup was close enough. And then I just kind of fiddle some more, just try and get it so that the car doesn't look like it's floating. And then I thought the convertible was like that's like a car they would have, like a nice little car. And I just put in like some little decking, and so like a barbecue area, because I was like, yeah, they're the sort of people that would have that, and I put in some sun lounges and like a kiddie pool by the actual pool, because obviously they've got 2 toddlers, so they can't use the proper pool yet. I think my landscaping on this one went okay for once. Also, me and the loungers are kind of enemies at the moment. Not loungers, but like the ones that float on water. Because I have a sim who decided that she wanted to keep going out there when it was like freezing cold in winter. And then she died and the Grim Reaper took her, and I was like... Because my husband like lost the pleading thing. And I was like, no, I'm resurrecting you. Like, it would have been fine. Like, I just would have left her dead, because that's usually what I would do. Except the fact her daughter is the one who's in my university Let's Play, and I didn't know if I like wanted the mum around at some point. And I don't know, I was just like, no, we're not playing that game. Like, and also I was just getting her in because she decided to run off again. And I was like, nope, if I'd been 2 seconds earlier, she would have survived. So we're going to say I was 2 seconds earlier. So I brought her back. Oh, I was so annoyed though. It was so annoying. They also got like one of their kids taken away, because I literally couldn't leave them for some reason. They were like, I don't know, it was just like they weren't doing anything automatically properly, even though the setting was on. I was like, oh my god. One of them was, but the parents were just being useless, and so one of their children got taken away, the toddler, and I was like, it's fine. Like, so she's still in the family tree, except I've cloned her into the game, because I hadn't saved recently enough that I was okay with losing progress, because I just like got all the one who's gone to uni skills up, and I was like, if I do that, like if I go back to the last time I saved, it's only like a day ago, but I'd made like progress in that day, or like 2 days kind of thing. Like it was like a couple of sim days, I think. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. So I just like got the toddler from the clone, like from the other save thing, and put her into the family, and obviously connected their relations up. But it means that the other one's still in the family tree, like the toddler. And for some reason you can't seem to like adopt children who were taken away, like even if you're in another family, I don't think. I don't know. And I tried to summon the sim there, but it just doesn't work. So I was like, okay, well, this is my only option. I mean, it wasn't, but it was the only option I was willing to do. I did debate just being like, okay, we've got 1 kid now, but I was like, no, it's too late. I don't want to do that now. I've already done half the raising. So I just had to work with what I had. I just do some landscaping. I'm not sure how well it turned out. I think it looks better than my landscaping usually does. I think it's because it's a bit more sporadic. I put more trees in. I think that's where I might be going wrong a lot of the time, is I'm not putting enough trees in. And so it looked a bit more natural now there was more than 1 tree. Because I think that's what I usually do. I'll put like 1 big tree in the back garden. I'm like, done. Here's some flowers. And it doesn't look that good. But because there was more scattered around, it made more sense. And then I just go in, like I usually do, and just kind of clutter up the spaces in the house a little bit. I didn't want it too cluttery, because as I said, I imagine them being like relatively neat, even though they've got children. I thought obviously they'd have some stuff around, so I go in, just add some clutter, and that's usually my last step of most builds, because I feel like that's the bit that takes the longest time for me, because I usually like to put in quite a lot of clutter, and I usually use like the OMSP shelf, or I don't know, just try and adjust the levels of everything so that it's properly the right height, and like put it on stuff where it can't actually go, like the fridge. So that's my last step, and I think this house turned out quite nice. And I like where I put that little succulent wall bit. I think I really like the bits from that pack. I think that's Laundry Days, wasn't it? Or maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I really like all the plants that came with whatever pack that was from. I'm sure it was Laundry Day. Actually, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be willing to bet on it. I do like this little console bit as well. I do wish we had like more swatches of stuff, but then I guess it makes sense because like they'd have to put in new meshes kind of thing. I don't know what to call it, like new shapes kind of thing, if it wasn't just like changing the colour of it. Like the, I don't know, because like the Get Famous wardrobes, they just changed the colours of the clothes that were in there. And I think that works for the clothes, but like for other stuff that's got stuff on the shelves, it wouldn't really work that well. So yeah, I mean, they do change the colours, but I think I mean like put different objects, but obviously that would be like making a whole new other object, so I guess it's not really that feasible. Yeah, I can't remember if I do anything to that bathroom. I think I just put in like the basic bathroom stuff and leave it, and then same for the kitchen. It's just me trying to fiddle around with this utensil thing and like get it in where I want it to be. I do really like how this kitchen turned out, actually, and I like that white tile thing. I did debate using like another wallpaper, but it didn't make much sense in such a small kitchen, and like it's kind of cut off, like it's kind of its own little area, so I was like, I'll just do that whole like kitchen bit without wallpaper or tile. It's a tile, I'm pretty sure. And then I was just kind of deciding what flower to put on the thing, and I like the Van Gogh sunflowers, but also I'm like, they don't fit in. They kind of look like alpha or something, and I'm like, not sure about that. And then here I just kind of had the idea that I think I went into debug to look for like crayons and stuff, because I kind of thought they drew, like the two kids drew that on the wall, and like maybe the mum like helped them balance to like, you know, like she pushed that thing over and like held them like so they could get the tool a bit. I don't know. Or maybe she like drew it and they coloured it in or something like that. Basically, it's a drawing on the wall, and I was like, the kids did that. Because I thought they're the sort of parents that are like house proud, but they're also like, kids will be kids, and like we'll just paint over it. It's only a wall kind of thing. So I quite like that idea. They're quite like chill, laid back. Yeah. So I just kind of put some crayons and glitter and stuff down there. And I think in the actual living room I had like a little craft kit as well. And then I just put some stuff here where you come in, because I was like, oh, I've left it empty, I should probably put some stuff here. And I put a little rabbit because I'm obsessed with rabbits. As you can probably tell by my painting behind me, the fact that I'm always talking about rabbits, the fact that they live in my bedroom, and the fact I've got a tattoo of 2 of them. So what can you do when you're obsessed? Not a lot, other than talk about them more. And yeah, what else do I do? I think it's literally just like adding little bits in to make it a little bit more realistic and stuff. So yeah, I think this might be the last thing I do, is just go in. Oh, I think I'd have a look like whether the walls will work a different colour and put the second one in. But yeah, video's about to wrap up now, so I will see you in my next video. Bye.